To my knowledge, there are 3 different methods for actually throwing the throwing stick, and each of those methods varies depending on the type of environment that you are in. And I'm going to talk about all those in a moment, but first I want to let you know about the commonality between all 3 methods, which is that you should always start from the ready position. The ready position is having one hand on the end of the stick and the other end of it resting on your shoulder just like this. And as you stalk up to the animal, this is the position that you want to be in. There are 2 main reasons you want to be in this position. Number 1 is that if I'm stalking up on an animal and I have my stick in a different position, let's just say it's in front of me, and I see the opportune moment to take out the target, well, if I have it here, now I have to make a movement and retract in order to bring it up before I throw it out. That movement is going to be a big indicator that, hey, I'm standing right there hunting you. So if you come from the ready position, all you have to do is make a quick forward motion and the stick is going to fly out of your hand. It's going to be much less of an indicator of your presence. The second reason that the ready position is advantageous is because you can freeze at a moment's notice and have very little movement. You can stop literally mid-stride, and because the stick is resting in both places, it's got good balance here and it's not going to give off a lot of wobble, if any. If you were holding it out like this, the stick, especially if you're breathing heavy or you're nervous or something like that, is going to be moving or has the possibility of moving, which is going to indicate your presence. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the 3 different methods. The first method, and the one that I prefer the most, if possible to use, is the diagonal method. And the diagonal method is simply, as the name indicates, coming across diagonally as you release the stick. And what this does is it sends the stick spinning in this motion, which is the best compromise between gathering vertical hit space and horizontal hit space when you're coming to the animal. So it's going to have the best chance of hitting the animal out of all the methods. Now, the second method is the vertical technique, and obviously this is going to be when you come straight over top and release the stick vertically, and it's going to spin forward just like this. The reason that the vertical method can be advantageous is when you're in an environment with heavy vegetation. Let's say you're in really tall grasses or you're in a grove of saplings where you have a lot of vertical growth vegetation, and you're going to have to sneak that stick through past all those obstructions. If you did the diagonal method in that situation, you'd be more likely to hit a tree. So it's going to require a greater degree of skill on your part to use it, but it will allow you to get into places where you'd not be able to otherwise. Now, the last method is the horizontal method, and that's where from the ready position you come and you swing across horizontally, and the stick travels like so. The place that this is advantageous is when you're throwing out across a body of water. So for example, if you've got a duck or a goose or something like that that's out floating on a pond and you want to take them out, when you throw this, it's going to skim along the surface of the water a lot better and give you the best chance of hitting that animal. One thing you can do to further practice these skills is to set up a throwing stick range. And as you can see here, I've made a very simplistic one just by piling a couple of rocks up on top of this log, and that will serve as a target. And now I'm going to give you a view over my shoulder so you can see what it looks like when the stick takes flight and the body positioning and so forth. Now, the thing to remember here is that when you're throwing the stick, you are not just throwing the stick. You want to visualize and create in your mind and in your body everything that it is to stalk that animal. So mentally that means being very focused and intentful. Physically that means being relaxed and making as little noise as possible. So I like to get in the ready position, have a couple breaths, be very still before I launch the stick. Cool. So we grazed the target. It was a pretty good hit, and that's a good simulation though, because what is typical is that more often than not when you make contact with that animal with the stick, you're going to injure it and stun it, but likely not kill it. So when that happens, do the humane thing, rush in, pick up the stick, and finish it off quickly. Now, that leads me into kind of my philosophy and my disclaimer at the same time, which is if you're going to practice this, make sure that you are abiding by your local laws and everything like that. But more importantly, the philosophy of the survivalist is to treat the woods and nature and everything living out here with a sense of honor and respect. So if you're going to do this, don't do it in a wasteful manner. If you're actually going to kill something, use it thankfully, and use the components of that animal to the fullest in order to honor it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video has been beneficial to you. If you enjoyed it, be sure to check out our website, and if you haven't done so already, sign up for our newsletter. It is absolutely packed with more information just like this. It's all at hedgehogleatherworks.com. Thanks so much. I'm Paul Scheider, and I'll see you next time.